Before the Marvel Cinematic Universe became the unstoppable giant it is today, there was a hidden masterpiece quietly running on Disney XD, a series that gave us everything we wanted from the Avengers before half of these heroes even hit the big screen. 2 seasons, 40-something episodes, and a fan base that still refuses to let go. I'm talking about Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. An animated gem that proved superheroes could be brought to life with drama, action, humor, and heart, all while staying true to the comics. And yet, despite its brilliance, it was canceled far too soon. Today, I want to break down why this series was so special, what made its characters and storylines stand out, and why Marvel and Disney pulled the plug when the show had so much more left to give. Back in 2008, Marvel Animation had a bold vision: bring the Avengers to TV in a way that had never been done before. This wasn't going to be just another Saturday morning cartoon. The goal was to create something truly epic, a show that treated its audience with respect, built on comic book history, and gave us a team dynamic that felt authentic. Then came the turning point. In 2009, Disney acquired Marvel. At first, this seemed like good news. Disney had the resources to actually make the project happen and give it the scale it deserved. And in October 2010, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes finally hit Disney XD. From the very first episode, it was obvious this was different. Instead of throwing us into endless battles with no context, the creators took their time. Characters were slowly introduced. Backstories were fleshed out. Story arcs unfolded with patience. And when the action did arrive, it hit hard. They didn't just adapt the Avengers, they built a world. A world pulled straight out of the comics, but crafted in a way that felt cinematic. One of the show's greatest strengths was its handling of the core team. Each Avenger wasn't just a costume or a power set. They were layered, flawed, and compelling. Tony Stark was magnetic, charismatic, witty, and Steve Rogers was written with a depth that foreshadowed what the MCU would later do. Less about flag-waving patriotism, more about moral leadership. He became the heart of the team, a man who always believed in doing the right thing, even when it wasn't easy. Thor's arc, though, might be the show's most underrated achievement. Instead of treating him as just a muscle-bound god, the writers dug into his inner conflict, torn between duty to Asgard and his love for Earth. He didn't have to stay on Earth. He chose to stay. And that choice gave his character a weight that felt both noble and human. The Hulk was handled better here than in almost any adaptation before or since. Yes, he was a powerhouse, but the show didn't stop there. It gave us the raw conflict between Bruce Banner and the Hulk, treating them like two separate people trapped in one body. Their uneasy coexistence was heartbreaking and powerful, and when Hulk transformed, the animation sold every ounce of it. Wasp was the glue. The sass, the humor, the lightness the team needed. She wasn't just comic relief. She was the one who kept egos in check, called people out when they were being ridiculous, and reminded the team why they fought in the first place. And then there was Ant-Man, the quiet genius who slowly unraveled. His descent into obsession and self-doubt made him one of the show's most tragic figures, especially as he struggled with the guilt of creating Ultron. This wasn't a one-note team. It was a group of individuals, each with unique personalities, strengths, and weaknesses. Together, they felt real, but EMH didn't stop with just the Avengers. The show went big, introducing characters and storylines that expanded the Marvel Universe in ways no animated series had done before. We got Iron Fist and Luke Cage bringing street-level grit into the mix. Wolverine made his presence felt. The Fantastic Four showed up, giving us crossover moments that felt earned. And then there was the Kree Skrull War, one of Marvel's most iconic comic arcs. Not only did it bring cosmic stakes to the table, but it also gave us Captain Marvel's origin story. Carol Danvers went from Air Force pilot to one of the most powerful heroes in the universe. And EMH told that story better than most big-budget films have managed. And of course, Spider-Man. Fans were thrilled to see Spidey swing into this universe, but what happened behind the scenes left a bitter taste. Originally, Josh Keaton, who voiced Peter Parker in The Spectacular Spider-Man, had recorded the lines. The plan was to make EMH and Spectacular part of the same shared universe. A dream come true for fans who adored Spectacular Spider-Man. But at the last minute, Disney pulled the rug. Keaton was replaced with Drake Bell, who voiced Spidey in Ultimate Spider-Man. Josh wasn't even told about the change. a decision made behind closed doors. Fans later learned this wasn't just about voice acting. It was about control. Disney didn't want spectacular Spider-Man associated with EMH. They wanted to bury that series and promote their own version instead. What could have been a powerful crossover moment turned into one of the biggest controversies of the show. The heroes were amazing, but the villains were legendary. Kang the Conqueror wasn't just a one-episode throwaway. He was a saga. A time traveler with an army and a tragic backstory. Every time he appeared, you felt the tension spike. The stakes were real. Ultron was terrifying. Not because he was indestructible, but because he was personal. Born from Hank Pym's mistakes, Ultron became the shadow Hank could never escape. The more Hank tried to fix things, the deeper he sank into obsession. And then there was Doctor Doom. If you only knew Doom from the mediocre Fantastic Four movies, EMH flipped everything you thought you knew. Here, he was ruthless, arrogant, and brilliant. A tyrant ruling Latveria with an iron fist. Magic, science, power. Doom wasn't a villain of the week. He was the kind of character who made you realize why he's one of Marvel's greatest creations. This variety of villains, from galactic conquerors to personal demons, gave the series an edge most shows never reach. So, with all of this going for it, why did EMH end after just 2 seasons? The answer: synergy. Disney had just struck gold with the MCU. Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers, the movies were taking off. And Disney wanted the animated shows to line up with the films. Instead of continuing EMH, they created Avengers Assemble. A series that wasn't bad, but felt safe. Characters were rewritten to resemble their MCU versions. The art style was simpler, the colors muted, the stories lighter. Jeff Loeb, the head of Marvel Television at the time, had a very different philosophy. He didn't want serialized storytelling that required viewers to follow an overarching plot. He wanted episodic, self-contained adventures. Easier for kids, easier for new fans. But easier doesn't always mean better. Fans felt cheated. What made EMH special was its respect for comic storytelling. The arcs, the build-up, the payoffs. By stripping that away, Disney effectively dumbed down the content. And the worst part? EMH had already laid the groundwork for so much more. By the end of Season 2, the show had set up arcs that could have taken it into legendary territory. Civil War, Secret Invasion, Secret Wars, even deeper cosmic stories. Imagine if we had gotten EMH's version of those events, faithful to the comics with the same care the show gave to every character. Instead, the plug was pulled, and fans were left with what felt like a rushed replacement. Avengers Assemble wasn't a disaster, but it didn't have the same heart. It didn't respect the source material in the same way. It was more concerned with copying the MCU than standing on its own. And for many fans, that was the ultimate disappointment. Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, remains one of Marvel's best animated projects. It treated fans with respect. It gave us character depth, comic accuracy, and villains that mattered. It wasn't afraid to take risks, to tell big stories, and to explore the humanity of these larger-than-life heroes. And that's why fans still fight for it. That's why petitions, fan edits, and nostalgia threads never stop. Because EMH wasn't just another show. It was proof that animated superhero stories could be just as impactful, if not more, than their live-action counterparts. So the question we're left with is this: what if Disney had trusted the comics, trusted the fans, and let EMH continue? How different could Marvel's animated universe look today? Maybe one day we'll find out. Until then, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes remains a legend. A show gone too soon, but never forgotten.